Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, and welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, a little bit of laughter, and everything you need because, as you know, divorce happens and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our OG Fresh Starts experts who we love so much, Kara Francis. Kara, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, my name's Kara, as Olivia said. I am a former full-time divorce lawyer turned marriage and divorce coach. So I'm licensed in the state of Illinois and New York to practice law. I still practice a little bit on the side, but my main focus today is coaching. I launched over 2.5 years ago, and I help you decide whether you want to get divorced, or if you don't want to get divorced, right? How to improve your marriage and how to improve how you're showing up in your marriage. And if divorce is the ultimate decision, then I'm there to help you prepare to take that leap and support you all the way through.
Absolutely. And so one of the questions I personally get a lot, and we get a lot at Fresh Starts, we have a lot of people who are kind of in the first stages of considering divorce. Obviously, the word divorce is like, do you think divorce lawyer, right? It's like you need a divorce lawyer to get divorced. So, Kara, what would you say if somebody comes to you and they're like, I don't even know where to begin looking for a divorce lawyer. What do I look for? It's really scary. So what would you say? How do you help people there?
Well, it's funny you say that when people think of the word divorce, they think divorce lawyer, because that's how I originally decided I wanted to be a divorce lawyer. Was my older sister went through a divorce, which this experience really inspired me. As if you follow me or read my content, you'll know that that was a major source of inspiration for my career. And I was like, oh, I want to do what she does. And I thought, I'll be a divorce lawyer, right? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind as well. Lots of other professionals who can help you during the divorce process other than your lawyer. But yes, let's focus on the lawyer piece for now. So I would say when trying to find a divorce lawyer, I would consider three major topics or bullet points that you would want to speak to a prospective lawyer about at your consultation.
Okay.
So the first is, before you even go into your consultation, decide what type of divorce experience you ideally want to have. So a lot of people think that the only way to get divorced is through court, and a judge kind of like pounding the gavel and telling you what's going to happen with your life. That is not the case. Court is really only for people who can't agree on everything that needs to be resolved to get divorced. There are many other ways short of litigation that you can get divorced, including mediation, collaborative law, and just negotiation between attorneys or directly with your spouse. So going into your divorce, thinking about what type of personality do I have? What type of personality does my spouse have? Are we on the same page about most things? Do we think we can resolve this either between each other or with the help of a mediator, right? And so that will narrow down the pool of potential lawyers from you right off the bat, because some lawyers are pit bulls, they're litigators.
Yeah.
That's how they market themselves, and they're necessary for certain cases.
Yeah.
But probably not for yours, because I forget the statistic, but like a very, very, very high percentage of cases end in settlement in some way. So when you're doing your research before you even schedule these consultations, you want to read about like the About Me page of your lawyer or the law firm itself, right? How do they market themselves? Do they market themselves as compassionate, helping you to amicably move on to your next chapter, kind of words to that effect. And it's okay if they also have litigation experience.
Right.
If you're thinking mediation, sometimes it's good to have a lawyer that has experience with both. Right. So very good at mediation, very collaborative, works together. But if necessary to advocate for you, they can go to court for that purpose.
Right.
So that's the first kind of bucket that you want to consider. The second, which is something that you won't be able to determine until you're actually consulting with an attorney, is the experience that you will have with their specific firm, right? So if I hire you, what will the day to day of my case look like, right?
Mm.
Am I going to be corresponding directly with you, working directly with you? Are there associates or paralegals that I will be working with?
Yeah.
What is your general availability right now to take on my case, right?
Right.
Like if a lawyer has a trial next month, they might not be in the best position to take on another case right
It's a
now
good
because
point.
that's
Yeah.
very intense. It's very time
Yeah.
consuming. So just getting a general feel of, walking me through what a typical case looks like if it's handled by your firm and based on my facts of my case. Um, Last but not least, which is probably the first thing people think of, is money, financials, fees.
Yeah.
So getting a really clear explanation from a potential lawyer of, do you charge a retainer? Most of them do. If so, how much is it?
Yeah.
What is your rate? What are the rates of anybody else in your firm that will be working on my case? How does billing work? What happens if I don't agree with some of the charges, right?
Mhm.
Just to get
Mhm.
fully informed of
Mm.
how that whole side of the puzzle works. And then last but not least, this is a question I get all the time is, asking a potential lawyer, how much do you think this is going to cost?
Yeah.
Which is absolutely impossible to answer because it is dependent on so many factors outside of our control.
Yeah.
Um, However, most attorneys will probably give you some sort of ballpark so you can at least have a very high level understanding of like what world are we operating in here.
Right.
Bearing in mind that again, there's no guarantees, there's no way to know with absolute certainty how much it will cost.
Yeah.
But if a lawyer has practiced for many years and has seen all types of cases, they might be able to give you just like a general high level range for you.
That makes sense, right? They have like kind of a standard that they might be able to like, I really love that you said those were all amazing, amazing tips and things that maybe people wouldn't think about when they sit down because obviously you're so overwhelmed too. So, listen back to this podcast a few times and follow those tips. But I love that you said like when we think about divorce, we think about like the gavel deciding the rest of your life. And that is really true. Like that. And I love that you said that because that is how we think about divorce. Whereas most divorces are really slow and drawn out processes that just involve your lawyers talking back and forth. It is so not sexy in any way whatsoever. And so, I also want to get your thoughts on this. I myself, we bounced around mediator to mediator, and then we had to get our own lawyers and this that. So it's not like you're like no pun intended, but married, right, to like the lawyer, right? So what do you recommend like to I guess remind people that you can change your lawyer if it's not working?
Yes. This is something, the relationship you have with your lawyer, even though it is a business relationship, it is very much also personal and emotional. This is somebody who's going to know every single detail of your life. It's very
Yeah.
intimate in that way. And so you want to make sure you're hiring somebody that you feel comfortable with
Yeah.
and that you feel like has your best interest and is going to be a good person on your divorce team. So you'll kind of get a sense for that in your gut just at the initial consultation. Like we all have those feelings when we meet someone for the first time. We kind of know within like 5 minutes whether like this is my type of person.
Yeah.
And it's not personal to the lawyer. It's just we're all so different. And so really pay attention to that at the initial consultation. And then further down the line, if you feel like your attorney is just not a good fit for whatever reason,
Yeah.
yes, you can always change. My advice would be to listen to that feeling as soon as you have it. Because if you get that sort of feeling, but you're like, well, I've already paid them a retainer, we've already
Yeah.
filed. It's like, I'm just gonna like, it's not, I don't really like this person. I don't feel great about them, but like, let's
Yeah.
just like get through this. Don't do that because you don't know how long your case is gonna take. And the longer
Mhm.
you have one attorney, the harder and more expensive it is to
Right.
switch attorneys. And you
Right.
can still switch, but like you want to make sure that you are paired with an attorney that you, for the most part, feel
Yeah.
100% good about before you get too far in your case. And then
Yeah.
another attorney has to start from the beginning, that's
Right.
what gets expensive.
Expensive and not, I don't think any time in history has anybody been like, I want my divorce to be as long as possible, please. Right. So
Right.
no, yeah. Okay, so that being said, Kara, what do you do and how can people, if they're listening to this and they're like, oh, I love her vibe, I would love to work with her. Where do you work? How do you work? What do you do?
Yes. So I do all virtually. So I can, unlike practicing law, I can coach anyone anywhere. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I can meet you at any stage of the process. But what's nice that the timing of this interview is happening is I'm actually in the process of revamping my offers and how I work with people. So after the new year, I will begin launching 2 new group programs.
Oh, great.
One is for premarital coaching. So people who are engaged to be married, it's not couples coaching, it is individuals who are engaged to be married to help them get really clear on how they feel about very important topics when it
Mm,
comes to marriage, and then to support them and help prepare them to have those conversations with their
love that. I love
fiance.
that. Yeah.
As somebody who's personally been married and divorced, I know that if you have issues before you get married, they don't just like magically
No,
disappear when you
no.
say I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's a magical day, the wedding day, hopefully, but that doesn't take away all of the issues.
No.
So I really firmly believe in having these types of discussions before you get married. So that's one of the group programs. And then the other group coaching program is for people who are married or in long-term committed partnerships, and who are just struggling in their marriage. They might be thinking divorce, they might not have any idea what they want to do, but they know that they're just not happy. Um, and similar to the premarital program, it's going to be for individuals who are married, not couples. And again, just helping them reconnect to self, get really clear on what they want their
Yeah.
relationship to look and feel like, and take action, whether it's with their spouse or personally, to make that a reality. Um, as for people who are navigating divorce or who are decided on divorce and really want support, I will continue providing one-on-one coaching for those individuals, because it's very fact specific. And I think it's important for a person specifically in that place to feel
Yeah.
just like 100% supported.
With divorce coaching, we're huge fans of divorce coaches over here at Fresh Starts because we like to say not only divorce coaches save you money long term, right? But they really are there to be like your best friend during divorce and help you, especially because divorce is a whole other world. So we love all of that. And as always, all of Kara's info will be in the show notes, and you can find Kara at Fresh Starts Registry and the Expert Guide. Kara, before we let you go, if anybody's listening to this and they're going through a divorce or considering a divorce, what would be some words of encouragement you could leave them with?
This sounds probably cliche and something you've heard a lot, but it really is true. And if you actually adopt this mindset, it can be very, very helpful and supportive, which is one day at a time. If you need to make it even shorter, like 1 hour at a time.
Mhm.
Because when you are in the divorce process, it's very easy for your mind to go into fear mode or fight or flight mode and think about all of the things that might happen in the future that are going to be horrible. And when we are focusing on the future, we can't devote our energy to the current task in front of us, which is all we really have in order to help determine our
Yeah.
outcome. So, one day at a time, stay present in the moment.
Amazing. Kara, as always, thank you. It's always so great to see you. And if anybody's interested in working with Kara, go to the show notes and get in touch with her today. Thanks, Kara.
Thank you.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.